Salutations, I'm Jesco, and you're watching Game Dev Made Easy. Today's video is going to be different from my standard tutorials. Today, I want to talk about how to go about planning your game. Now, I want to stress that there is no right approach to this. However, from my experience, I've learned these principles are most helpful in planning a video game.
There are many people I have seen on various Discord servers and on Quora that ask questions like, how do I make game like fill in the blank? Or comments like, I want to build the next fill in the blank. My immediate thought whenever I see these comments or questions or any variation of them would be, well, why do you want to make that specific game or genre? What about it calls out to you? Is it a specific mechanic, story element, visuals, or what? Which boils down to what I really want to dive in today. How do you come up with the game to make? The first thing you need to do is wear your influences on your sleeves. Do not be afraid to say which games have influenced your design or game development philosophy. Furthermore, you need to be able to break down exactly why a game has influenced your design or game development philosophy. Let me give a clear example of this. I am highly influenced by games I played as a kid and still revisit to this day. One of those games, which happens to be on my list of all-time favorite games, is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, why am I influenced by this game, and how has it influenced my game development philosophy? The answer is simple. The world itself was a source of wonder for me. Seeing how the light and dark worlds were so similar yet different in the game. How some dungeons scared me as a kid. I remember when I first used the hookshot and how when it connected with the proper objects, it would pull Link to where it was hooked. I was so fascinated by that. How when you had full hearts, the Master Sword would fire a projectile that would damage enemies. How items were hidden all throughout the world and encouraged exploration of the entire world map in both the Dark World and Light World. There was also the fact that every item had more uses than just being used to solve dungeon or world puzzles. They had uses in combat as well. For example, the bottles could hold a bee, golden bee, fairy, and the different potions available in the game. My design philosophy is to make my game world be explorable and have items and secrets hidden all over, in and out of the beaten path. Encourage the player to really look and know my game world inside and out. Items should serve multiple purposes and even have functions that could be hidden, waiting for the player to discover through playing with different combinations. To have my game world be cohesive and provoke some sort of emotion depending on the game genre chosen. Do you see how I can wear my influences on my sleeves and not blindly copy something? The point is to really understand why you like or enjoy a game. I do not want to make mindless clones of games I love. I want to tell my own stories, make my own worlds, and inspire others. Anyone can make a soulless copy of a game if they have the necessary skills to do so. But without the fundamental understanding of what makes that game good, all it would end up being is a mindless copy without the soul or feelings that the original inspired. Take a gander at Mario 35 versus the Mario 35th Anniversary Collection and how they were received by the fan base. Mario 35 was a labor of love and added something new to the original game, a battle royale aspect. The fan base absolutely loved it and praised it, whereas the Anniversary Collection was nothing but negative press regarding it. Not because the games were bad, but because they only did 3 games. They used an emulator and charged full price for it. This brings me to my next point. It's okay to be inspired by different genres and integrate things you like from them into your own games. Various game genres have different implementation ideas for similar mechanics. Not only that, it can really help to shake up how a game functions. You don't have to stick with the preconceived notions of what a game genre should be or how it works. You can expand upon it and possibly make some really cool games with the fusion of different genres, or by taking one or two mechanics from another genre to throw into the mix. Let's look further at Mario 35 and what it did to paint an example of this. Mario 35 makes you play against 34 other people. Each of you have your own level that you are playing in, but the catch is, for every enemy you kill, you send them to one of your 34 other opponents and adds more time to your constantly counting down clock. The 1-up mushroom no longer gives you an additional life. Instead, it gives you 20 coins. Coins allow for you to utilize a random power-up block. It costs 20 coins per usage, which means that the coins actually have a use in Mario 35, where there was no real point to them in the original game besides getting more points. The level order is randomly selected, which means you could start on World 1-1, and after you beat it, you could turn up at World 8-4. This leads to massive replayability and leaving you unable to predict where you will go next. Well, what about visuals? This one is a bit more complex because it ultimately depends on what you want to do. There are 2D games that look fantastic and tend to be considered timeless because you aren't bound by the art style of the day. Super Mario World is considered modern even to this day, even though it was released in the early 90s. But when you compare the 3D use in Star Fox, it doesn't hold up even remotely well today. Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, was exceptional and graphically advanced for the time, and when we look at the models today, it's very blocky and low poly when we compare it to what we use today. This isn't to say that all 3D models from bygone years have aged terribly. Donkey Kong Country, released by Rare in 1994, has 3D models in it, and to this day looks gorgeous. It all comes back to how you handle your graphics, the type of camera you want to use, how the player can view the world, and many more variables. Which ultimately really comes back to taking a good look at every game you like or are inspired by, and really dive deep into everything about the game in order to formulate your plan of attack for creating your game. This includes the visuals, music, sound effects, graphics, gameplay, story, and how the game feels with every input you use. This has been Jesco, monologuing about how you can make your own game and fully utilizing your influences. If you enjoy my content, please consider looking in the description box for the link to my Patreon and PayPal payment links to support me with mucho dinero. If you don't have the disposable income to be able to support me monetarily, please subscribe and leave a comment below to expand my reach on the platform. Thank you for all of your support and much love. Just go out.